you know what, this year I actually want to make something for me. Like, I'm so used to making things for other people. I need to make something for myself. Hi, and welcome to Not That Deep, where we're not that deep, but we also realize it's not that deep. If you're new here, I'm Tina, and if you're coming back or returning viewer, welcome back. Happy New Year to you all. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas break. I hope you're feeling inspired, rejuvenated, and ready to get into the crafting or get into crafting this new year. So, I had a bit of a chat with one of my crafting friends, and she asked me a question that got me thinking, which was, what are my crafting intentions for the year? And I kind of thought I didn't really have much. Like, I just, quite simply, my answer is I just want to get better at all of the crafts that I enjoy. Is the long and the short of it. However, I did kind of break it down and start thinking about, well, how do I do that? And one of the things that I've come to realize over the past few months is the main thing that's going to get me from where I am to where I want to be is just continuing, just practice. So I'm hoping to get a lot more done this year to allow me to actually practice my craft and get to a point where hopefully by the end of the year, I feel like I've actually improved in these different areas. So I'm going to share with you now some of the things that I'm hoping to do or projects that I'm excited to work on this year to get me from where I am to a little bit closer to where I want to be. So this is not going to be a super high sort of productivity, burn yourself out kind of ambitions video. I've intentionally given myself a bit of a break, mainly because towards the end of last year, obviously we had the Christmas rush and I was rushing to get things done. And I didn't even show everything I made on the channel. I made quite a few other bits and it was kind of high pressured, but not necessarily in a bad way. I did enjoy having those deadlines of, oh, I'm seeing this person at this time, so I need to make sure that their gift is ready. So that sort of purpose was great because obviously I knew I was making things for loved ones and it was more of a self-inflicted pressure, but in a I know I can do this sort of way. And I also think it was quite it was managed. I mean, let's be realistic. There were quite a few things that I wanted to do. There just wasn't enough time. So I had to just park that and have an inner conversation with myself and find alternatives. That's fine. But at the same time, it was really nice to have deadlines to work towards of, okay, cool, this is getting done for this person at this time. And it really encouraged me, even when I was sort of having a bit of a, oh, I just want to sit down and do nothing today sort of day. It just added some extra oomph to, completion, which was really nice. And I did actually enjoy that. That being said, I am also actively currently giving myself a bit of a break because I do know that there's loads and loads I wanted to do, and I'm conscious I really want to be kind to myself. And I do encourage all of you as well to be kind to yourselves as well, because as much as we love what we do, you want to be able to continue doing it and you don't want to sort of do unnecessary harm because ultimately it's just going to set you back more than it's going to push you forward. So that's what I've kind of been taking a break for a couple of weeks. And actually, it's been really good to think about what I want to be able to achieve in the coming year. So that is what I'm going to be sharing with you today. So, like I covered earlier, the main things I'm sort of hoping to work on this year will be crochet, knitting, and that includes hand knitting and machine knitting, and also sewing, mainly pattern following, because yeah, I just kind of want to get to a point where I can actually create blueprints to work by. I feel like my comfort zone is freestyle. Like, I'll have a rough guide in my mind, and this cuts across for knitting, crochet, and sewing. I'll have a rough guide and I'll sort of just go with the flow. And honestly, that is how I enjoy it most. So I might find that actually I start this and I choose not to. That's okay. This isn't going to be, like I said, a rigid, goal setting sort of process. It's more of a gentle guide, is what I want to call it, but with the ambitions of trying to conquer what I am putting down. So these cover, there's loads of things that I want to sort of fit into these categories. So I will show you a few of the things that I've got on my general list, and then I'll show you how I've tried to group these together into something that can help me in terms of if I'm sort of in a bit of a rut and I want a project to get things going, get the creative juices flowing, then I can turn to this particular diagram. So I'll show you that shortly as well. So with crochet, one of the main things I want to sort of work on is like a lacy crochet. Now I've seen people doing like filet crochet, and I'm not sure that that's for me this year. If I can, fantastic. That's probably a little bit too advanced for me at this point, but we'll see how things go. But it's more so about introducing lacy details. So I want to be able to perhaps do small embellishments. Like I can crochet, but I think with lacy details, I struggle. So that is something I want to look into. So sort of the edging on those cute little girly socks, like it sounds so small, but it's something that I think if I've practiced, it's probably just increasing stitches. Anyway, I don't know the ins and outs of it as of yet, and that is one of the things that's on my list, mainly because I would like to introduce that sort of style into like I said, sock lacing, or sock edging, if that makes sense, and like skirts, um, and I didn't get into details of dresses as well. So that is one of the things in the crochet space that I would like to look at. I think the difference between getting to introduce lacy details would be like so different to like the kind of bags I've been making. So where I've been using like single crochet stitch to make an entire bag, and it's in this, thick cotton yarn, it's going to be very different to using like a really fine yarn with lacy details. It's just something I would like to explore. I think something else in the crochet space I would like to explore would be like dolls. So I tried amigurumi. Is that how you say it? I can never say it properly. Toys is what I'm gonna call it. But within that sort of space, I have made a couple of bits. I made a little tortoise recently, and I made a bunny from a kit that my sister got me. But I would really like to make a doll, like a mini me, and I did see this book at the my local library, and it had how to basically crochet dolls, make yourself. Um, so that kind of piqued my interest. So I would like to see whether or not that's something I could create and potentially get better at as well to make as gifts for other people. So I would like to make a doll, and I would like to make some lacy details in crochet as well. So with knitting, I do still want to try and get better at hand knitting. However, my machine, I love that machine. I really do. Like, oh my gosh, which I absolutely love, has got quite a few things that I still need to learn. And the the options, the possibilities, they're literally endless. So I may give machine knitting more of my focus, but I do still want to practice hand knitting as well, because I don't think I've even scratched the surface with what again is possible in the realms of hand knitting. And yeah, I would love to again try and hand knit socks and machine knit some socks. That would be great actually. Um, yeah, that would be really cool. So yeah, those are the kind of things on my lists for knitting as well. When it comes to sewing, now Again, I would love to make at least a few garments, and definitely have some things in mind that I want to make for my husband and my kid. Um, but again, those could be either within the machine knitted space or the crochet. Quite frankly, again, anything goes. Um, but one thing I do definitely want to try and do is at least use a few of my patterns. So I'm conscious that it's just something I need to get better at. I don't know why it's a little bit intimidating for me. It shouldn't be, but it is a little bit. So I kind of just want to do at least one, and then I can sort of allow myself to, and I want to follow the instructions like properly. No freestyling, no adjusting. I want to like make something exactly as it comes. And then I want to sort of go on the journey of altering the patterns. But I think it's only right if I do an actual pattern first and then start building on that process. So sewing space is more pattern focused. That being said, if I get to sew freehand or my own designs, I'm not turning it down. That's a win is still a win. So those are the kind of things that I definitely would like to explore. That said, I do already have some requests for like bags and things, especially that I made in the for the Christmas season. So the recipients of some of my gifts actually opened them up. There were others that were like, I need one of those. I need another one of those. And so I've got a few requests that I would like to work through. So obviously there's going to be a lot of that sprinkled throughout the year, hopefully, to try and get those done. But it's just nice to go into the year with an idea of some of the things that I could potentially be working on, and some of the things that will absolutely push me, because that's how I personally, anyway, find growth. So, got that to look forward to. I do still need to obviously manage the expectations of the people that want stuff. So, will all of them be possible? I don't know. Again, we'll see how the year pans out. You know, life happens, and with the best will in the world, it might not be possible, but I'm hoping to sort of like plan things in as and when I can. But it was so heartwarming to see some of these gifts received with such warmth, and to see my efforts appreciated, because some of them were like down to the wire sort of thing. So that was really encouraging. The main thing I'm not doing this year is I'm not going to force it. I'm really hoping to make the time. But if anything, for me, that's more motivational in terms of getting other things out of the way, and, you know, making sure that I can prioritize because other things are sort of dealt with. But if it doesn't happen, I'm not going to force it. It's not the end of the world. I think it still needs to be enjoyable for me to get what I get out of my craft out of it. So, again, we're not going to be forcing it. We are not going to necessarily finish everything, and that's absolutely okay. Do I have whips from last year? Yes, I do. Absolutely. Um, and it's just part of the game. Like, and actually, one of the things that I've noticed as well is some of the things that I was working on. If I put them down for a little bit and I come back, the inspiration changes. Like, the direction that I'm going to go in could be completely different. So it doesn't necessarily have to be start, stop. I did enjoy the Christmas rush, like I spoke about in the beginning, but not all projects are going to be like that, and that's fine. If it doesn't get finished, it doesn't get finished. No problems. And I think as well, and most importantly, actually, I'm going to allow the learning to be organic. Like, if I can get extra resources and stuff, fantastic. But if it's not happening, I'm gonna put it down. I'm gonna go to something else. I'm gonna get into the right headspace and I'm gonna come back. It doesn't all have to happen overnight. So again, I feel like it's remembering to take things slow and as they come, just so that I can enjoy it. That's the main thing. That's what I'm trying to take from this whole process this year. And I really hope I can remember this for myself. I've had so much fun actually making things this last year, and I'm really hoping to like continue that. So I saw this other YouTuber. I will see if I can put her name up on the screen, but she did like a bingo projects thing for her crochet group last year, and it really inspired me to sort of like group my own aims. So it's sort of like a bingo card of goals for the year. So I've put together one for myself. Nothing special, but I just thought I would share it with you just to also, I guess, get some accountability going because, yeah, you guys are good at that. It's helpful. So I'll show you what I've put together and how it sort of ties in with some of the stuff I've already spoke about, but also goes in different directions as well. So I'll show you. So I've put together this grid. It's literally just a 3x3 grid of some of my crafting goals. Goals is being used very loosely here, but some of the things I would like to be able to achieve in 2026. So what I've tried to do is have a little bit of a sequence. So down this side, I've got my sort of knit section very loosely, kind of mainly just these two. And then I've got sewing up here. And then I've got sort of my crochet down here. I mean, it's very loose, very, very loose. So one project can sort of tick off multiple boxes, and I'll explain. So I've got here one patchwork or mixed media item. So I'm kind of hoping that if I can do something quilted of some sort and mix in maybe a little bit of crochet edging or something like that, that would qualify. That would be great. But it would force me to do some more patchwork. Now, last year I went to the Festival of Quilts, absolutely got my mind blown, loved it. But I've still, other than one quilt block that I made earlier, well, after, since the show, I've not really dabbled in it as much as I would like to. So I'm hoping to try and get something under my belt. This would be a great way to encourage me to do that. That being said, straight beneath it, I also have quilt art. Now, just because I'm not necessarily sure what I would do with a quilt per se, doesn't mean I couldn't make art out of it. So the logic there is I should, could, would be able to make something more artistic that doesn't necessarily have to be like a usable blanket or anything on that kind of scale. So again, it could just be an introduction to the whole quilting game and it just puts less pressure on it. But if I did patchwork, in theory, that could cover both of those goals. But again, we'll see how the year pans out. I'm gonna go across now and say, so I would like to make at least, should be at least, but yeah, one garment from pattern. Now, as I spoke about earlier, would love, love, love to actually use a pattern to make a direct or one to one garment. That would be fantastic, and that would satisfy that one block. Obviously, if throughout the year I'm able to make more, fantastic. But at least one is on my list. I spoke earlier about machine knitting a pair of socks. Would love to do that. And that would also allow me to, one, learn how to do something completely different on my knitting machine, allow me to use my knitting machine, and also allow myself to make my own pair of socks. So, quite frankly, I would love to do that. Can't wait. Um, I've also got one hand knit item. Now, that might also be socks. I don't know, I've got a little bit of an obsession with socks at the moment, and I'm not sure why. I think I watched a video and someone was really sort of advocating for it. So, yeah, I'm going to give it a go and see how we do. But yeah, it's just something to explore. It's not something I've ever done before. Late last year, I made my first ever pair of mittens and I've been using them so much. Absolutely love them. So yeah, I'm kind of hoping to get the same sort of hype from a pair of socks. So again, we'll see how that goes. I would love to, oh, I can't spell. I would love to make at least one machine knit sweater. So if that can happen, fantastic. That would be great. That would be really great. So we'll try that. Again, there would be so many new skills to learn on my knitting machine that would just be like, yeah, I actually cannot wait. So that would be amazing. And then going down to the last row, so I've got at least one crochet outfit. I've been seeing people wearing like the cutest little like sets, a nice little sort of cropped shirt and shorts set would be fantastic. That would be great. It would also force me to learn how to crochet shirts, which at the moment I don't know how to do. So, again, all about the learning, all about the learning. I spoke about the amigurumi doll. So, that I've kind of dwelled on. Would love to do that, would be amazing. And finally, create a crochet pattern. The amount of times I have tried to follow a pattern and somehow things just go sideways. In fact, I think that's almost all the time. I can't think of one particular item I have crocheted that has been smooth sailing from start to end. I almost always end up having to do some sort of remix on it. I would love to like learn how to create my own patterns and then follow my own patterns so that I can get better at following other patterns. You kind of get the gist. I want to get better at following instructions. So this would be a great way to practice that. Um, yeah, really excited to try all of these. Now, like I said at the beginning, if it doesn't happen in a way that I get to do all of them by the end of the year, no pressure. I would love to sort of get to the end of the year and I've done them all and some. But again, I'm being really realistic about this. Also, because obviously some of the projects are kind of huge, like machine knitting a sweater. Like I'm really going from zero at this point. If I can, that would be fantastic. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to be realistic here. That being said, I do kind of want to keep myself with a little bit of momentum. So I'm hoping to maybe like pick a few to do each quarter. And then obviously if I don't finish it, then I can just sort of roll it into the next quarter. So I'm not sure which ones I'm going to pick for now, but I can't wait to start. And I think for me, that is one of the important things because the fact that it's giving me that excitement, that, yeah, something to look forward to, you know? I think that is exactly what I need from this particular document. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already so that you can keep up to date with what I'm working on next. I've got quite a few things I would like to work on. And if you need any sort of encouragement as to what it's like, not necessarily being great at a craft and still trying anyway, love to have you along. Let me know in the comments, what do you plan to work on this year? What's your main aims or goals, or what is the main thing that you're hoping to achieve in the crafting space? And if you haven't subscribed, don't forget to do that either. And I will see you in my next one. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time.